In like 1994 and 95, I lived here, and you could still kind of see on the floor where it's kind of cut out, there are these really cool mahogany and that crackled glass kind of walls in here. So this is my son's room, and that was my office, and that was my bedroom. And then here was my living room. I had a dining room table over there and set up a kitchen. No, true. Yeah, my ex-wife suggested I live somewhere else, and I said, where do you suggest that would be? And she said, how about one of those old buildings you love so much? And I was like, well, that's gonna happen. And I go, well, the 15th floor is vacant. I could turn that into a pretty killer loft. So actually I did. It was funny. She said, I've got a box of your stuff to bring you. And I said, well, I'll come by and pick it up. She said, no, I'll bring it to you. I knew she was curious to see where I'd landed. And she came up here and saw I'd converted this whole thing into this really killer loft. And she was so mad that I actually moved up. So it was kind of fun. First dinner party I had my table over there, and I had these big candlesticks, and I had like 6 friends over, and I had the candles going. And a janitor in one of the buildings over here saw it and thought there was a fire. So at my very first dinner party, we had the Fresno Fire Department show up with all their equipment on, and then they hung around for a while and looked out the balcony. It's pretty fun. So this building is a really interesting design. So you see these windows over here, or on the other side. So there's like a center core to this whole building that runs the whole length of the building, and it has windows that were operable, and there's an air shaft in there. So when you look up the top where you see the antenna, that's open, and then the bathrooms and the stairwells are all, kind of in the center. So the layout of the floors are really neat because you have that and a corridor around them. All the offices are on the windows. So it was really built to take advantage of the views. But the air shaft was cool, literally, because these are all double hung windows, so you could open the top window, a crack, and then you had those transom windows, those cool old windows above your office door, and you'd open that and it would suck the heat out of the top of your office, and then it would go into the hallway and then up one of these windows and out the air shaft, right? Heat rises. So it would just create this steady flow of cool air sucking the heat out of the building. And then in the winter, you had radiators down here. And so you'd open the bottom of the window, and the heavier cold air would drop down and go through those fans, those fins in the radiator. And then it would, again, pull the air through, and it would warm up your office. So, and even on this floor, when I lived up here, as the heat rises through the building, the floor would actually be warm. In the morning when I got out of bed, that's pretty neat to step onto a warm floor. So it's just interesting to think, how they designed things in those days to take advantage of natural systems that we've kind of gotten away from. The problem was that then as we had more fire laws, they viewed that airspace that pulled air through as kind of like a chimney that would suck out the smoke and make the fire hotter. So they've kind of changed all of that now. Now there are so many more tools to help restore older buildings that now if they were to do it, there's like a shutter system you could have put in the air vent, so if there was ever a fire, it would close and not add fresh air to the fire. So you could have preserved all of those systems, but we missed that window. So this floor and the floor up above it are being permitted to be a restaurant, bar, lounge kind of a space. So those are the kinds of things we get excited about in downtown because there's no competition for that, right? There's no other place that will have this kind of a view. So, right, yeah. So Sky Room is one of the few places where you can go to see a view here. Even though, as you've seen today, we have really great views, we just haven't necessarily taken advantage of it. So the Grand is our last stop, and I'm going to say up front a disclaimer that I'm supposed to be able to coordinate with someone who's doing some wedding photography there, and I'm not incredibly sure that coordination is going to happen. I've been looking for an email or a text to tell me that how that's going to work this morning. So we'll walk down there, and we're kind of rolling the dice a little on whether we'll be able to get up there or not. But if you want, we can go up one more floor here, and you can see the 16th floor. I think maybe that's a better bet. And then if you want to go further down with me to the Grand, we can do that and roll the dice and see how that's going to work. But while we're here, maybe we just go up there.
I'm wondering with this Fulton Street being reopened to traffic, years ago, they used to have Christmas decorations hang on the light posts and everything.
Right.
Will we have that again, I hope?
Yeah, I think when you see Fulton Street open, you'll start. One of the things that we did was we put removable ballards in every block. Ballards being like posts, so that we can block off the street for different events. And I always say, you know, to Bill McEwen, I'll write your editorial about how dumb it is to open a street and then close it. But really, it's kind of what we said before, where you want to have flexibility built in. So if you have the Peach Festival or the Hmong New Year or whatever kind of events we hope to have down here, you close the street. But then when the event is open, you know, life continues to flow on the street like normal. So you get the best of both worlds that way.
Like in New Orleans, periodically during the day they close up blocks and the music comes out, you know?
Right. I was in Italy in kind of this Tower District area of Florence, and there were narrow streets, and every night at about 9 or 10, when it got too busy for cars to get through, they would just throw out tables. There were no permits, there were no ballards. They just knew they got busy and it's too busy for cars, so now the pedestrians own it. But then at the end of the night, it went away. We have to be a little more structured and get permits and liability insurance and all those great inventions we've had. But still, it'll work. So, you know, I would certainly hope to see like a Thursday night farmers market, you know, every week, and a Sunday morning market, and, you know, events every weekend planned to bring different parts of our community, celebrate our heritage and diversity and agricultural products and music and all those kinds of things down here too. So that's a great observation. So let's go up to 16. I might as well while you're here.